Can you explain why there's school shootings and people are getting at church, or even why unborn babies die? I struggle with those things and push me away from Christ. Ryan, I'm gonna think for a moment and try to put myself in your position and try to fully understand why this particular situation will move you away from Christ. If you could press the pause button on that for just a moment, I'd appreciate it if you would. Just one moment, hit the pause button on that, meaning don't walk away just yet, okay? Hear me out. The things that are in disorder, in my view, have nothing to do with Christ. Christ is not about disorder. Christ is about order and about love and about compassion. And I imagine that part of the struggle, part of the thing that you're struggling with is that if God created everything, if everything came through Christ, then why are these terrible things happening to human beings? And you have to remember that there's another personality, another being that is looking to destroy everything that God has created. That wherever there's good, that's where he is. I recently heard something about that the devil is more likely in church where good things are happening, where the truth is being spoken, trying to destroy the innocence in any way that he possibly can. So when we're looking at things that happen, like bad things are happening in school to kids in school, a lot of the things happen from what I've noticed is these kids that are ending up going back to school and committing these acts are kids that were bullied, kids that were tormented in some way, and they don't know how else to handle it. They can't turn to their parents because their parents won't do anything about it. They don't turn to the teachers because sometimes the teachers are part of it. Unfortunately, I've heard many cases where like coaches will see a group of kids bully another kid and they won't stop it. Sometimes they're encouraging it and to toughen them up, right? We don't understand why some people end up committing those crimes. They just feel like powerless. When you're feeling powerless, you're on one side of the spectrum. You are feeling weak, you're feeling alone, you're feeling secluded, excluded from all that stuff. You feel like the side of evil is pressing down on you. And the only way that you can overcome that, the only way that they could overcome that is by going to the extreme opposite and embodying that anger and that hatred and that powerlessness by taking that power into their own hands and then harming others. And then guess what? Now suddenly all the people who were looking away, they're looking at it now. They're forced to look at it. When it comes to why babies are being taken out before, I really don't understand that myself. I try my best to understand it before I reject it or before I accept it, because in that understanding is going to come wisdom on knowing how to act on it. In most cases, a lot of people are afraid. In most cases, a lot of people are unprepared for taking care of that child. You hear cases of people who end up harming their children after they're born, which is just as terrible, if not worse, because now this child actually has understanding. Now this child actually is dependent on this human being to take care of them, and this parent is torturing them in some way and ends up harming them, and it's infuriating. I know that. But please understand that I don't believe that has anything to do with Christ. That has everything to do with the enemy, who is trying to create division in people, who is trying to harm people, who's trying to get them to come off the path, that tries to get you to take another route, another exit. That's not good. So I hope that answers your question a little bit, Ryan. I hope you don't walk away from God just yet. But if you have to be still, then be still. You know, if you have to take a moment, then take that moment. Be very careful not to walk away. Then, to a certain degree, the enemy, what the evil one wanted to achieve with those tragic events, he succeeds if you walk away. He wins if you walk away, because that's exactly what he wants. He wants to have all these bad things happen to stir some confusion in you, to stir some doubt in you, and get you to walk away from the one thing that can protect you. If you can't, just be still. We can't let him win, familia. We can't let him win. You know, Christ did so much work and suffered so much for us to just simply walk away. It's infuriating. I understand that sometimes some of these things happen and you think it's unfair, especially when they happen to you, especially when it's happening in your family. You know, it's hard to say, God, why are you allowing this to happen? And to blame God. Take it from me, from personal experience, God, I'm gonna say it this way, okay? I mean, I am being sort of funny in the way that I'm saying it, but God is a big boy. He can handle your anger and your big questions and your blame. You can handle that. So you just want to be careful not to walk away too soon, especially when it's happening to you. Just a little bit of faith. If you can bring yourself to that stillness and ask that question, I have a little bit of faith that he will answer you.